Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Today I am going to discuss the topic Maal, property, and in conventional economics and finance, in conventional terms, it is known as asset. But in Islamic economic system, the conclusive word is property, not asset. So we will call it property, Maal. According to Hanafis and the Malkis, Maal is a thing that which is desired by the people and stored for use at a time of need. So here there are two main characteristics. One is desired by the people and other is stored for a use of time of need. So this is the two characteristics of माल according to Hanafis and Malkis. हम ये कह सकते हैं कि माल हम उस चीज़ को कहेंगे कि जिसकी लोग एक तो ख्वाहिश करें और दूसरा उसे एक वक्त के लिए आप उसको स्टोर भी कर सकें ताकि बाद में ज़रूरत के वक्त उसको इस्तेमाल किया जा सके। तो ये दो खसूसियात हैं अहनाफ और मालकिया के नज़दीक कि ये चीज़ माल कहलाएगी। इसके बरक्स जब हम on the contrary to the Hanafis and the Malkis, the Shafi says that the sale contract contains both transfer of ownership in goods and transfer of ownerships in benefits. So according to Shafi'i, there are two types. One are the goods and other are the intangible assets. So according to them, uh, the commodity, the asset, which is not considered as mal by Hanafis and Malkis, but considered as mal as per Shafi principles. तो इमाम शाफी के नज़दीक ये जो है कि उसको स्टोर किया जा सके, इमाम शाफी इस चीज़ को माल की करेक्टरिस्टिक्स में शामिल नहीं समझते। So according to Shafi, the storability characteristic is not included in the definition of mal. So he says that anything that can be transferred from one person to other person is ownership of the transfer. That asset is known as mal. So initially, there are two types of mal. One is tangible and other is intangible. So according to Imam Shafi, these are the two types. But according to Hanafis, they says that there is only tangible property. Intangible assets cannot be considered as mal property. Intangible property includes that rights, benefits, intellectual property, and debt obligations, etc. तो गैर मादी चीज़ें जिनके अंदर हुकूक हैं, मनाफाजात हैं, तसनीफ़ व तालीफ के हुकूक हैं, इसी तरह दैन है, ज़मानतें हैं, ये सारी चीज़ें इंटेंजिबल एसेट्स हैं, इंटेंजिबल प्रॉपर्टी हैं अकॉर्डिंग टू इमाम शाफी और इनकी कीमत होगी और इनको मुनाफा पे बेचा जा सकेगा। बट अहनाफ ये जो मालकिया ये कहते हैं कि ये चीज़ें माल नहीं है, लिहाजा इनकी कीमत नहीं होगी और इनको मुनाफा पे भी नहीं बेचा जा सकेगा। बट एक चीज़ यहाँ पर क्लियर है कि ये मुतकद्दमीन अहनाफ और मालकिया के नज़दीक था, लेकिन फी ज़माना अहनाफ और मालिकिया जो है इनको असासा शुमार करते हैं और इसकी बाकायदा कीमत है और इनकी खरीदो फरोख्त है। लिहाजा हम ये कह सकते हैं कि मॉडर्न हनफीज एंड मालिकीज ऑफ दिस करंट एज they are of the view that intangible properties are also known as mal. They can be considered property and they have price and they can be sold on profit. And so this is the view regarding the definition of property. Uh, the tangible property, the jurist actually divides tangible anything that can be touchable, anything that is that possess any physical body, that is known as tangible property. तो जिस चीज को हम छू सकते हैं, अपनी आंखों से देख सकते हैं, हम उसे कहते हैं ऐनी माल। ऐन आइन के साथ ऐनी माल यानी वो जो आंखों से नजर आ सके, हम उसे कहते हैं टेंजिबल प्रॉपर्टी। अब जो टेंजिबल प्रॉपर्टी है इसको इट इज डिवाइडेड in various types in different perspectives in different respects. Okay, the first is with respect to tangibility, that is intangible and tangible. Okay, now tangible, First one is with respect to permissibility. With respect to permissibility, there are two types: valuable, non-valuable, permissible, prohibited, permissible, valuable, mal mutaqawwim, all permissible things that has value, owned and controlled by any an entity and beneficial from the eyes of the Sharia, like car, house, etc., because these things are beneficial, and that can be controlled by any entity and that can be owned by any person, and they have also some values. So that is why these things are known as माल मुतकव्विम. हर वो चीज़ जो जायज़ हो और उसकी कोई कीमत हो और उसका कोई मिल्कियत भी हो सकती हो, किसी इंसान के कंट्रोल में भी हो और उसका कोई फायदा भी हो, तो हम कहते हैं कि वो माल मुतकव्विम कहलाएगा, वैल्यूएबल एसेट कहलाएगा. नॉन वैल्यूएबल, anything that is considered prohibited by Sharia is known as a non-valuable asset, because the thing which has been announced prohibited by Sharia cannot be owned by a Muslim. So for a Muslim, that prohibited items cannot be considered mal. जो चीज़ें इस्लाम ने अनाउंस कर दें कि ये हराम है, मुसलमान उनको अपने लिए माल के तौर पर शुमार नहीं कर सकता और वो चीज़ें मुसलमान के लिए माल नहीं होंगी, लाइक वाइन, pork, etc. Tobacco, like these things. Okay, so for example, take the example of wine. If a Muslim have a bottle of wine and another Muslim broke that bottle of wine, he snatched that bottle of wine and broke it, then the guy, if he will demand that he pay the price of the bottle of wine because that was costly, for example it was a 5 and to 10,000 rupee, he demands, then he will be said that it he will not that the person who broke the bottle, he is not liable anything to the guy who was claiming that he should be compensated. So why he will be denied? Because the judiciary, the law says that the person did not uh, make any harm to his property, because wine was not a property for a Muslim, for that person. So that is why if he broke, it means that he did not harm him any financially, he did not any harm him. So there is a no, he did not face any loss, तो उसका कोई नुकसान ही नहीं हुआ, तो उसने लॉस उसका सामना ही नहीं हुआ, तो फिर उसको किस चीज़ का क्लेम जो है वो मांग रहा है. सो इस क्यों, इसलिए कि मुसलमान के लिए वो हराम चीज़ है और वो उसका माल ही नहीं. जब माल ही नहीं तो अगले आदमी ने जब उसकी बोतल तोड़ दी तो इसका मतलब उसने उसका कोई नुकसान ही नहीं किया, चूंकि वो माल ही नहीं थी. So this is the example usually in jurisprudence discussed. Other type of mal is movable asset and immovable asset. Movable asset is very simple, that can be moved from one part to another place, one place to other place. एक जगह से दूसरी जगह मुंतकिल किया जा सके, माल मनकूला, और दूसरी माल, इसको हम कहते हैं अकार, आकार, immovable, like plots, sometimes trees. Look at here that all permissible properties which are able to be transferred or moved from one place to another place, either in the process of transformation may maintain the original features of the properties or changing its original shape and form, but Malki considered first one is Mankul. Imam Malik says that if the form is changed, then that commodity cannot, that asset cannot be considered movable, because the shape, originality has been changed. But Hanafis still consider it movable. And today, in the past, when there was no technology, so usually the people used to consider trees as immovable asset, but in these times the complete tree can be shifted from rooted out from the earth, and it can be transferred from shifted from one place to another place. So that is why we will say here that the trees have become a movable property, movable mal. Okay, and immovable, the properties which has value but not transferable from one place to another place. They restricted the description of immovable property to the land. Items like buildings, trees are considered items attached to the land. So because they are attached to the land, so that is why they are also immovable. But as we have discussed that trees and even the technology has come which uh, detach the building from the earth, and they can shift the building. So, but still, we cannot say that this rule is not this technology is not applied to the all type of the buildings. Similarly, like uh, Burj Khalifa cannot be shifted. So it depends upon the nature of the asset. But partially we can say that the partially buildings are movable and partially immovable. But to Malkis, in addition to Hanafi view, the things which can be moved but will erode or change its original shape, form, and value are also considered a car. So they say that if the commodity, while shifting, during the shifting, it changes its shape, then it will be considered a car because it is, though you have moved it, but it has changed its shape. जब उसकी शक्ल बदल जाएगी तो फिर आप उसको आकार माल नहीं कह सकते, तो वो कहते हैं कि वो immovable माल कहलाएगा. The next type of mal is with respect to genus, kind. Homogeneous, it is also known as fungible, and heterogeneous, it also known as non-fungible items. Homogeneous are categorized into various categories like volume. Those the item can be volumed like barley, wheat, dates, and the liquid like liters because they are the volumes. Volumable goods, weightable goods, which are in kilos, kgs, cotton, steel, length like yards, inches, etc., feet, countable due to similar size like eggs, nuts, etc. So इन चीज़ों को हम कहते हैं ये माल मिसली हैं. उमूमी तौर पर माल मिसली वो होती हैं कि जिनको बिल्कुल उन्हीं के जैसे आइटम्स के साथ हम तब्दील किए जा सके. मिसाल के तौर पर आपने किसी की गंदम ज़ाय कर दी, तो आप मार्केट से उठाकर गंदम रिप्लेस कर देते हैं और उसको, तो वो एक्सेप्टेबल होती है. जिस तरह खजूर, जो आप किसी की खजूर खा गए, अगर वो डिमांड करता है तो आप उसको उस जैसी खजूर ला के दे सकते हैं. तो वो माल जो जिनके सिमिलर आइटम मार्केट के अंदर इजीली अवेलेबल हों, तो हम उन्हें कहते हैं ये माल मिसली कहलाता है. और उसमें वो चीज़ें जो मापी जाती हैं, बर्तन में मापी जाती हैं. तो पुराने ज़माने में गंदम, जौ, ये सारी चीज़ें बर्तन में माप के दी जाती थी, तो वो चीज़ें भी कहलाती हैं. जो चीज़ें वजन करके दी जाती हैं जिस तरह कॉटन वगैरह, और वो चीज़ें जो नापी जाती हैं लेंथ के साथ, फीट वगैरह के साथ, मीटर के साथ, और इसी तरह जो है वो दर्जन के अंदर जो चीज़ें आती हैं, सारी की सारी चीज़ें होमोजीनस कहलाती हैं. इसके अलावा जो दूसरी है कीमी और गैर कीमी are the non-fungible items like heterogeneous items, all permissible things in which their replacement cannot be found in the market or can find a replacement, but with dissimilarity which leads to the differences in prices, like items which are counted but each with the different prices due to different types and sizes, such as pomegranate and apples, etc. So these are the priceable commodities. So they cannot be replaced with similar item like goats, all animals. So they're the priceable items. We will call it them non-fungible things. जितने भी जानवर हैं वो heterogeneous consider होते हैं, non-fungibles. बुनियादी तौर पर इसका मतलब ये होता है कि जब आप किसी की कोई ऐसी चीज़ ज़ाय कर दें कि उस जैसा आइटम मार्केट के अंदर अवेलेबल ना हो, तो फिर आपने जो उसको क्लेम भरना होता है, तो फिर उसका नुकसान तो फिर आप कीमत की अदायगी के साथ करते हैं, तो वो चीज़ें फिर कीमी अशिया कहलाती हैं. कीमी माल कहलाता है वो माल मिसली नहीं कहलाता. हम उसको फिर नॉन फंजिबल गुड्स कहते हैं. The types of fungible tangible assets with respect to use of asset: perishable and usable. Perishable because when you use an asset that is consumed, then it disappeared, it become non-existent because of usage. So we call it istihlaki, that has been perishable, that has been consumed. वो चीज़ ख़त्म हो जाती है। जिस तरह के खाने पीने एडिबल्स हैं, मनी ट्री है, मनी पैसा, आप पे पैसा चला आता है, पैसा चला गया, आपके पास खत्म हो गया पैसा, अब कोई और चीज आपके पास आ गई है। तो जिसको इस्तेमाल करने से ही वो चीज खत्म हो जाए तो हम कहते हैं कि ये इस्तेहलाकी माल है, ये पेरिशेबल आइटम है। On the contrary, other asset is usable, that after the usage of the asset intact remain intact. It depreciate, but it is not non-existent, like car, house, land, बुक एटसेट्रा। कि आप किसी से कोई गाड़ी किराए पे लेते हैं, घर किराए पे लेते हैं, आप उसको इस्तेमाल करते हैं, डेप्रिसिएट जरूर होता है, मगर चीज मौजूद रहती है, बाद में आप उसको वापस कर सकते हो यूज करने के बाद, तो उसको कहते हैं ये इस्तेमाली अशिया है। सो ऑल ऑफ दीज थिंग्स आर the consider the types of mal with various respect and aspects. In Islamic jurisprudence, all of these are known as the types of mal. Hope you liked this video, and so like it and subscribe it. Subscribe the channel Islamic Economics. Thank you.